In 1975, things were going well at Anderson College. It was a wonderful time on campus. New buildings were being built. The campus now had become a more peaceful place, and things were very definitely looking up. And we were sending a great many students off campus every summer to work outside the United States. It was called the Tri-S program. And one day, a young man by the name of Gil Thrush walked into Dean Beard's office and said, you know, I'm interested in this program. What's happening this summer? And Dean Beard said to him, Gil, his name was Gil Thrush, Gil, there's a program that you probably ought to be interested in. This program has to do with a home of loving faithfulness run by two women in Hong Kong. Gil Thrush thought about it and came back and said, you know, I'm interested in that program, and he signed up. I think the students that went out there were never quite prepared for what they saw. For in the home of loving faithfulness, there were children and infants that had been abandoned because they were so seriously damaged, either emotionally, psychologically, or physically. And our students, when they went out there, learned what it was to care for the least and sometimes the most lost of children that there are in the world. The teacher who went along with them was Don Cruikshank. Well, Don Cruikshank and Gil Thrush volunteered to build a chicken coop out there in Hong Kong and to put the lights, the floodlights up. When the job was being done, Gil Thrush and Don Cruikshank were up on the second floor, up high, where there was a railing, and Gil Thrush was straddling this railing, and he was reaching up as far as he could to fasten this particular light on the outside near the eaves so that it would flood light down on the front lawn. And while he was doing that, he got off balance and fell off this porch and fell on his head on the ground. His neck was broken. He was never revived. And this became, for the group that traveled out there, a deeply wrenching experience to lose one of their friends. The reports among students had now been passed far and wide. They said to themselves, let's plant a tree out on the campus. So after chapel one day, we gathered out to the area which is really just behind me on my right, and planted a Colorado blue spruce to remember Gil Thrush. His parents were here for that day, and I can still remember the tears that flowed in that meeting when we sang a hymn. Some of the students spoke about Gil, the experience that they had had, and we had a prayer of remembrance to honor this young man in our midst who had really given his life. I shall not soon forget that experience. Why is it important for us to remember this as a holy place on this campus? Because we remember Gil Thrush, a young man who was a college junior with his whole life before him, who was willing to take the chance, travel across the world, for a dream he had in his heart to do some good, someplace across the world that was a part of God's great commission to him, and Jesus' words about helping the least and the lost. And so for me, it will always be a holy place. And for a lot of students who surrounded the tree that day in his memory, and for his mom and dad, it will always be a very holy place.